The roadmap, Benzinga's NFT show. We have a huge show today, and I know there is a ton of people out there ready for this interview. We're going to be talking to two co-founders of Trippin Ape Tribe, one of the biggest projects out there. It minted recently. It's doing insane sales volume, breaking records for Solana. I mean, what a time to have these guys on. We're so excited. So stay tuned, everyone. This is the roadmap. All right, everyone. As I said, this is the roadmap, Benzinga's NFT show. We're going to be doing that interview in a couple minutes here. Before we get started, want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor. Today's episode is sponsored by FTX US, one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world in terms of trading volume and daily users. The FTX app is used by over 6 million people to buy crypto and NFTs with no transaction or withdrawal fees, and you can use your phone or computer. The FTX US trading platform offers NFT trading on both the Ethereum and Solana blockchains with no gas fees. To find out more, click on the link in the description below and also in the chat. So shout out to FTX for sponsoring today's episode. And speaking of today's episode, again, a ton of people here. We got to get that like count up. Go ahead and smash that like button if you have not done so, and subscribe to Benzinga's YouTube channel where you can get great content on stocks, crypto, and NFTs. We run this show Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern time. And as you can see, the chat will be appearing on the screen live through the episode. I don't know if that's going to be a great idea today because you guys are already blowing it up. And yes, I've just got to throw it out there. It, of course, is not a cult, and I'm sure you're going to see that throughout the episode. Before I bring the guys on, want to talk a minute just real quick about Trippin Ape Tribe. We use data here at Benzinga from CryptoSlam, which talks about the top NFT projects on a 24-hour, 7-day, and all-time basis. And on yesterday's episode, we went and took a look at 24 hours, and number one on the list was Trippin Ape Tribe. And also, it was the first time that Solana NFT secondary market sales beat Ethereum on a 24-hour basis. And that is, of course, thanks in large part to Trippin Ape Tribe, this 10,000 collection that we are going to hear more and more about. I'm seeing a floor price of 47.69 on Magic Eden, 49.99 on OpenSea. So excited to get into this interview. So I think without further ado, it is time to bring on the co-founders of Trippin Ape Tribe. So go ahead and show some love for Lysergic and Danny. What's going on, guys?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's going on, man?
Going great. I mean, you guys can see the chat there on the screen. What a awesome community you guys have. This thing is going to be going nuts throughout the episode, I'm sure. So we'll try to play along and keep up with the chat as well. But yeah, great to have you guys on, and super excited that you could join us, the week of the mint, right? Before we get into Trippin Ape Tribe, one of the first questions we always like to ask, founders of projects is, share a little bit about your journey, right? How did you get into crypto and NFTs prior to launching this project? So Lysergic, I'll start with you.
Okay, cool. And I just want to say thanks so much for having us, Chris. We appreciate, you giving us the platform to talk about the madness of Trippin Ape Tribe. So I got in crypto in the infamous 2017 run, and pretty late, mind you. So I, bought a bag. It went up like 4x. I thought it's going to go up another 10x, and it didn't. It went down, and I lost basically all of it. But so I held that bag, kind of after that kind of fell out of it a little bit, but then bought up the what was it, the COVID dip, and ever since then had really watched the charts, learned a lot about leverage trading, started doing that, had a pretty big liquidation one time. I was in a club and never did that again. And but I've always just been like a my Twitter handle is DeFi Gem Hunt, so I was always like a low cap, low market cap like hunter. And Danny and I actually used to just being really big into the shit coins, meaning anything on like basically anything on the Binance Smart Chain or Ethereum chain through Uniswap, and whether they're actual shit coins or not, but that's just what they're called. But so we used to just do that day in and day out. And then how I got into NFTs was actually through Danny, but I'll probably get into this at some point. But so I run music festivals for a living, and there's like a 3-month period where I had 2 festivals, and I was so busy I was completely out of the crypto game. This was like maybe July through beginning of October last year, and so I was out of the game. Did my stuff, came back. I hit up Danny. I was like, "Yo, like, what's going on? Let's get back into it. Ready to go." And he was like, "Yeah, man, it's all about NFTs now. Like me and all the guys are just on NFTs." So I was like, "Oh, okay." And I had some exposure to it through a friend of mine with the Hall of Fame Goat Lodge. They actually minted in July, and I was kind of talking with them because I actually threw a festival for them for their roadmap. And so I was there throughout that process. And back then I was like, man, this is just weird and like wild. And so like that was my first exposure. And the first, it's actually funny because the first one I actually had like in a wallet, technically didn't buy it, was at EDC Las Vegas. They had a Coinbase like activation. And I went there and you scan the QR code, and you get it. So that was technically my first NFT. The first one I bought, I can't remember. I think it was one of those. It was one of those stealth launches. It was called Eager Eagles. And nothing happened with it. Like it just,
I was gonna say, I don't know if I know that one.
No, I don't think anyone does.
It's probably it's probably in some hidden folders out there. So
yeah, I'm sure. But I was I stayed pretty busy, and like I kind of went right into like wanting to run a project. I minted some other stuff in between. But basically, since we kind of started on this in like late December, early January, I was too busy to like be minting, so I just would like buy on secondary. I just would like find projects I really believed in and did a lot of that. So that's kind of my intro to NFT story.
Awesome. And Danny, over to you. Same question. Your start with crypto and NFTs before this.
So I have a pretty similar journey to Lysergic. I started, I got into crypto pretty early on. I think my first transaction on Coinbase was like 2015. Obviously, I sold, it was Bitcoin. I sold it for like $260 a piece, which was a big L. But,
ouch.
we learned from those. I think everybody has those stories in the crypto space. But, after a while, kind of dabbled a little bit, here and there while, just working on other stuff in the real world. And then got back into it early 2000 and early last year, maybe February last year. I started getting real deep, diving into trading full time, and stumbled upon like the micro cap shitcoin games. I don't know if you've heard of Hodge Finance or Safe Moon. When those first came out, got into those pretty early, and kind of just stuck to the micro caps for a while. With Lysergic, me and him, we like every day, every morning we'd wake up and try to hit pre-sales, just try to hop in early and just chase those pumps. We did pretty well. It was kind of like the golden age of Binance Smart Chain then. But after that, it was maybe September, October. I really got into the NFT space. Before that, I was exposed to it, and earlier on, I tried to mint a Solana Punk in like June when they first minted. This was before Solana even had a marketplace to sell it on. It took me forever to set up my wallet and get my SOL in, and by the time I got the SOL in, it had just sold out like 3 minutes prior. So I didn't get into that. And then, my first Solana NFT was actually Eternal Beings, which was Lil Uzi's collection. I got rugged on that. So that was a nice intro to Solana NFTs. But yeah, I'm still here, still kicking it. So for the past, let's see, been like 7 months or so, 7, 8 months. So I've just really been strictly into Solana NFTs. Just had a good run where I was just kind of mincing everything. Obviously that wasn't a good method. We went through a pretty rough Solana winter. So that's it led me here, taught me a lot about, how things happen in the Solana NFT market, and brought me here and making this project with Lysergic.
Awesome. So, we've been doing this show for months, right? And one of the big trends that we've seen lately is, of course, growth of Solana NFTs, right? I mean, it used to be all Ethereum, right? And that's all anyone talked about. And we've really seen this, surge in Solana NFTs. So you guys launching this project, you had a decision to make, right? You could go on any blockchain you wanted, with Ethereum and Solana, the two most common. Why the decision to launch on Solana versus Ethereum? Not sure which one of you guys wants to kick this one off.
I can take that. So basically, we have been on the Solana chain. That's what we have. That's the NFTs we've bought. I mean, we've purchased very few on Ethereum. And I don't know. I think it's a lot of times for these, for these people degens, it kind of just is which one you get into in the beginning, right? So like that's the one that we knew. That's the one that we were just comfortable with. We knew other people in the space, so it just made sense. Although I will say we almost did launch on ETH, because we were talking with someone who's kind of advising on the project, who was just all about ETH, and he had us convinced for a second to almost go to ETH, but we made the call finally to just do what we know, do what we like, and so we launched on Solana. And then this was a long time ago, but then we kind of have seen this shift go over to Solana, and like you said in the beginning, where on our mint day, we finally eclipsed, probably for a very short period of time, but we eclipsed the sales for Solana NFTs versus Ethereum NFTs, which was, that's a pretty big moment, I think. But yeah, we're seeing a lot of people start to understand the possibilities that are on Solana. So, we're really excited about that.
Danny, anything else to add? Just the decision to do Solana?
Yeah, aside from the fact that, we're really truly just Solana degens, one big difference between Solana and Ethereum is really just the size of the Solana community. It's relatively small compared to ETH, but so it makes it so that if a project really takes off and starts to gain some traction and attention, if a few of the right people are talking about it, then everybody's talking about it. You either catch traction and take over Solana, or you kind of go unnoticed. And so, yeah, we had a plan to come out with a splash and kind of draw all that attention, and it seemed to work really well.
Awesome. So you guys probably heard in that intro I gave you, we look at Crypto Slam. We use that on a weekly basis because it shows Ethereum and Solana projects. It's not perfect, but it does a good job of showing sales volume. And in the past 24 hours, you guys were number one. And also Solana secondary sales passed Ethereum for the first time ever on a 24-hour basis. Can you guys just talk a little bit about, what that means? Because you guys are going to be seen now as, record breakers, leaders, and kind of helping to evolve the Solana side of the blockchain here.
Danny, you want to take that?
Yeah, so, with the way we came out the gates and kind of broke those records, obviously it puts a lot of attention on us and a lot of expectations. So, there is a little bit of pressure there, but really that pressure is motivating more than anything. So we understand that we kind of have a responsibility to kind of represent Solana and Solana NFTs. Obviously I don't see us as the face of Solana, because there are plenty of other, really big and great projects, in front of, with great teams and builders behind them. But we've been put in this position, so it really just motivates to, grow this thing and build it out, as great as we can, and really just make a big impact in the space.
Awesome. So, there's a lot of mystery around your project, right? And I know a lot of that was, intentional. We have this great website, and we've got a lot of, some hidden clues, some different things, but a lot of it centers around, Chorles. So, can you just break down a little bit, who is this character? How did that name come out, and when maybe will we get some more clues on who this person leading the way is?
Yeah, so Chorles is the elder ape who basically found the psychedelic bag from the Firefest 2 in our lore. And so he kind of went and experimented and like learned what these all are, and then showed the rest of the tribe kind of the beauty of these psychedelics and what they do, right? So Chorles is kind of just the wise, the all-knowing, the leader of this, who is going to lead us to Valhalla, right? So mysterious creature, wise creature, and just the decision maker, essentially. And sorry, can you repeat? I know there's a couple questions in the questions.
Yeah, just when maybe will we hear more about this character? Yeah. I know we got a lot to talk about, but just on the Chorles side.
Yeah, so basically our project is very heavily lore based. So it's a whole story that we're telling, so it's going to continue to be told. Hey, sorry, 1 second. I don't want my computer to die. So we are basically creating this long story, and our utility revolves around this story. It coincides with it completely. So the story of Chorles will continue to evolve throughout the lifespan of the project. And we have something we're introducing that's kind of like a journey or a quest, essentially. And that's where the story really evolves. So you'll get to understand more of what Chorles is doing, more advancements in the tribe. And yeah, so it's going to be a long learning process, and everything that we do will kind of come back to the lore and like kind of what Chorles is doing and envisioning.
Danny, anything else to add on this this character that's going to be, the center of the project here?
Yeah, so there's we kind of drew inspiration from a lot of other projects where the community likes to rally behind like a central figure, a powerful figure, pretty much like a strong leader. And obviously our lore is very cultish when you read it, but our tagline is "It's not a cult." And so the whole idea is to build this cult-like community behind this big charismatic wise leader. And yeah, it really just plays into our theme really well.
Can you guys talk a little bit about this journal we have, right? Chorles journal on the website. There's some hidden clues. I know you guys can't, break anything, but maybe point people in places they should be, looking at clues, or, does this journal have a lot of items that people can kind of read into?
Yes, that's the whole point of them. So the journal is our roadmap, put out in a secretive, fun way, right? So the idea is that if you really read into those, you can at least get some sort of vague idea of what might happen, and that's where the speculation kind of becomes fun, right? Everyone in the community is, even just was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday we released our 3rd journal entry. And the speculation just went nuts. And a lot of people, I don't know if I want to say they got close, but a lot of people are figuring out like at least what to look for. So this is kind of how we're revealing our roadmap, and it's tricky because we haven't done anything just yet, but that is coming. And then they'll be able to look at that and be like, okay, it was right here, and like this is the kind of stuff we should be looking for. So. Yeah, I mean, that's how we're going to be doing it, but we will say that things will become more clear as we go. Like, there's going to be certain things, like when we kind of start the whole, like the actual journey, that we need to explain like how to do and what's the point of doing. So, you know, the pre-mint and even the one we posted, was it on mint day? No, it was after. It was yesterday. Yeah. Those were meant to be pretty vague, but they will really start to like evolve and like, you know, it'll just be a little more understanding of like what's actually going on. And one of the reasons is, you know, we're actually trying to like, we want to get to the point where we find our tribe. You know, there's when any project launches, especially one that has a lot of hype, there's a lot of flippers, there's a lot of people taking profits, especially if they, you know, minted, right? I mean, the floor went pretty high pretty quick. So the idea is at some point to really have an established group that's like they're in it for the long run. They're trying to like, you know, be a part of the community, be a part of the project. And so I think we're getting there soon, and we'll be able to kind of communicate a little more freely with them and directly, I think.
Danny, how about you? Anything to add here on the journal, why it's important, and maybe, you know, when we'll get more details on what's hidden here?
Yeah, so like Lysergic said, the journals are, you know, kind of vague, and we're going to get to a point where we're a little bit more specific about it. So the idea is, so the journal is not really the only content piece that kind of hints at things. We also have Chorles's transmissions, where he, you know, puts out a audio message to also hint at some other things too. So we kind of pair those two together. But the idea is, you know, once we put out these journal entries, we want to make a more clear, concise announcement following those journal entries, kind of just so that way, you know, people can, we give people some time to kind of speculate and decode the messages in the journal. And then once we put out an announcement, we can, you know, kind of give people that confirmation, like, oh yeah, like I was right, you know, I was right this whole time. I figured it out. So it, you know, it makes it really fun and at the same time informative.
Awesome. Yeah. And I mean, the chat's going crazy right now. And I know a lot of people have figured out some of the different clues, the different things hidden there. But we, of course, wanted to, you know, break that down a little bit for people who maybe, you know, are still searching. So there are 3 principles that are listed on the website for what drives the tribe forward: community, identity, and innovation. Can you guys just talk about, you know, why these 3 things are so important for the project?
Yeah, I mean, we look at those as like, yeah, those are the pillars essentially, right? And those I think could be kind of the pillars for any project, unless, you know, they're like a really tech-driven project, then it might be a little different. But at the basis of any project is community. I mean, on Solana, when you look at like the really strong communities, like D-Gods is absolutely insane. Kets is like, I've described them before as like a rabid community. They're just like, they're all over the place. And if you say anything about Kets, like they're all over your posts, like posting their emoji and, you know, just going nuts. And so kind of fostering that community is really the most important first step. And, you know, that was the idea with the first, you know, few days, is like get the community in, like get them vibing with each other and all that. Now, everyone seems to really want an announcement instead, but which will come. But yeah, we know that community is really the first step in any of these projects. And like I mentioned before, once we get through the flippers and we find these people who are like in it for the long haul, you know, we're gonna do what we can to like take care of them, foster them, get to know them. And then identity, I think, comes from like just like all the recent meta of the branding plays. Like we are, again, like I said, we're not really a tech driven thing, although we do have some pretty deep tech in our utility. But we're not looking to like put out like sniper bots, you know, for secondary markets, or like some of the projects do. Which that stuff has its place, and I think so do projects like ours. So the identity part is just kind of establish who we are, what we're trying to do, which, you know, will become again more apparent as we move forward. And it will be a lot of like cool stuff. You know, obviously we're gonna have an IRL event focus. That's my background. You know, there'll be some merch branding stuff, kind of the standard stuff, along with some, you know, some more high level stuff we think, and, you know, even down to like acquisitions. And then that's kind of where we can also play into our lab, which is Valhalla Labs. So we have kind of 2 areas we can brand in. It can be any type of brand, or, you know, a brand that makes sense to collaborate with a psychedelic project, you know, maybe again a music festival, you know, or countercultural stuff like skateboard companies, you know, snowboard, anything that's like kind of a little off the beaten path that might make a little more sense than I don't know, I don't really have a good example. You know, Shopify, you know, collab with Doodles. I'm not sure that Shopify would collab with a, you know, project related to psychedelics, but maybe, I don't really know. But then we have Valhalla Labs, which can form partnerships, do different types of acquisitions, and kind of just be its own entity that really is the parent company of Trippin Ape Tribe. So a couple different ways to kind of look at the branding from this. And the reason behind Valhalla Labs was to give us that option, that more, you know, I don't know if I want to say family friendly, but more general, like, you know, option to work with, you know, whoever. And it'll be the company that, you know, may or may not release another collection down the road. So, you know, that's, we wanted to separate it off. So there's kind of two distinct entities there.
Love that. Danny, anything to add on those three key pillars? You know, maybe why they're so important and how that's going to drive the project going forward?
Yeah, for sure. So with, you know, community, I think, you know, every great project, every big project, in order to really be successful, is to have that strong community rally behind you. Because, you know, the biggest kind of like the biggest marketing tool you can have is to have, you know, thousands of people on Twitter rocking your PFP. And so, you know, that's just free marketing. The community is going out and, you know, repping your project and, you know, just showing that they're proud of it. And, you know, if the right people are doing that, you know, there's the people that they influence are all going to want to join in with that. So, you know, just having a strong community is really important for any project. And, you know, the bigger the community, the better. And so, you know, that leads into the identity piece. You know, the
Danny,
community needs something.
Why don't you touch on innovation? Because I didn't get to that one.
Oh yeah, for sure. So with innovation, so, you know, there's always like a specific meta that's going on in the space, and the thing with the NFT space is it moves really fast, and so you know, you have to be able to kind of pivot and adapt to the new metas, but, you know, with innovation, you want to do it in a different way than everyone's doing it. You know, in order to kind of set yourself apart and, you know, really be noticed in the space is really you have to follow the meta, but at the same time, kind of do it in your own unique way. And that's, you know, that's really what we're trying to do. There's a lot of the ideas we have are kind of, they're familiar. You know, a lot of people are familiar with them, and it's kind of they're common things, but the way we're doing them is, you know, new and unique. You know, just that we just think that's important in order to put your project ahead and, you know, ahead and in front of new people.
Definitely. You know, speaking of community identity, you guys have, you know, one of your key pieces here is, of course, this, it's a tribe, not a cult. Either of you want to talk a little bit about, you know, where that came from and how that's going to help with some branding here going forward?
Yeah. So, you know, if you read into our lore, it would certainly suggest that it sounds like a little bit of a cult. So we just want to make it clear that while it may seem that way, it is not that way. But really, you know, at the end of the day, it's just like, that's just like a fun piece of our lore that, you know, people can really latch on to, they can get excited about. And that was the whole idea. Like, it creates a really fun story. And it actually allows us to really evolve the story. And we were actually just discussing the other day if there's an end to it and how it ends. And we came up with some pretty fun ideas. So, you know, that's really just like that piece that we thought people would latch onto and like run with. And they did. And it kind of also goes into the branding portion of it where, you know, you've seen the chat being, you know, spammed with "it's not a cult," and we just think that like taglines or, you know, any that kind of just furthers the identity of the project. So when we came up with that, let me back up. Actually, we had kind of a similar lore at a certain point. Yeah, somewhat similar, I guess I would say. But I was reading through it one night and I was like, man, like, all we're missing here is like a tribe leader, and this thing is you know, like some sort of weird like not a cult, but like right on the edge, right? So we kind of talked about that, and we're like, I think we do something where maybe it seems like it is, but it's obviously it's not. And then that not a cult thing becomes kind of our tagline, the cult with the strike through. So it just, it was made to be fun and just kind of a part of the story. And, we're really stoked that people are latching onto it. Cause I mean, it'll be part of, merch. It's a part of our different types of utility. It's kind of, it's kind of the major part of our identity, at least as of now.
Yeah, I mean, you just said merch. I know people were already asking about that in the chat. I mean, I'm not going to ask you when, but just hearing you say that, I'm excited about, because I would love to rock some merch, on a stream someday. I think that would be awesome. Danny, anything to add there to, the cult versus tribe and how everyone's latching on to that?
Yeah, kind of just to follow up on what Lysergic said. It's really, it's the thing with NFT projects is people like NFTs because, obviously there's monetary value in it, but what really keeps people around is really just the engagement and the fun of it. Like, with having the story and having the story that we can kind of draw out, and it just creates some continued excitement and something for people to really engage with. And they really latched onto the it's not a cult thing. It's kind of, it's just cheeky and funny. And I think it's, the main demographic of, Solana degens, it really is for them. Like it's something that they all like. So yeah, it was just really important in order to capture our audience.
I mean, you guys were strategic with that. You did that at launch, but are you surprised that, it's not a cult, like really just became this huge rallying cry? I mean, you can see it in the chat right now. Everyone just typing it over and over, and they are fully in. Does it surprise you that it went that far?
Well, first of all, it was a pretty big surprise to us how big the following got in general, right? So like saying that it wasn't a surprise, I think would be a lie. We're definitely we're thrilled to see how much it kind of caught on. We knew it would be the tagline, but when we started talking about this pre-launch, we didn't know if we'd go into mint with 15,000 followers, 100,000 followers on Twitter. We didn't really think we'd ever get up to 400,000 followers, which is funny because people seem to fault us for it. And they're like, it's overhyped, and we're like, damn, we didn't even really do anything. It's not really our fault that it got overhyped. But we didn't expect it to be this crazy. And now I think that I think it makes sense, and especially with how hype we got, it's kind of as of right now, without utility, the community is just rallying around each other and just blasting that all over Twitter, blasting that all over the chat. So we didn't expect it to be this crazy, but we love to see it for sure.
Awesome. I think we lost Danny there for a minute. I want to get into some of the traits, right? That's one of the fun things we always like to do here on the roadmap. We talk to founders of NFT collections. We talk to, people who invest in NFTs, and it's always fun to look. Oh, there's Danny. It's always fun to look at the traits, right? And you guys, we're involved with, creating these. So we would love to hear from you guys, the co-founders of the project. What are your favorite traits for Trippin Ape Tribe?
It's a great question. I have a lot.
So give us as many as you want.
For sure. So as far as the furs, the mushroom fur is definitely probably my favorite. It's one I chose for my PFP. But one of the reasons that I love that one and so attached to it, it was one of the absolute first ones that our artist Fig sent over, which was, it was crazy when he sent it over. Holy shit, this is gonna be awesome. So I love that one. I think it's called Truman.
Yep. There we go. Love it. So
I love that one. And then my other favorite fur is probably the OJ. And I know we explained this a lot, but it wouldn't make a lot of sense why there's an orange juice trait to a lot of people. But back in the day, and I'm talking when I was in like 7th, 8th grade. I remember hearing this rumor, and it's funny because all of our most of our partners heard the same thing, where this guy took too much acid and he thought he was a glass of orange juice, and if someone like pushed him over, he would spill. So that's kind of where that came from. And that was another one that, like, when Fig sent over, I was like, holy shit, like this actually looks like a glass, and like there's orange juice sloshing around in it. And plus with like the OJ eyes right there, that was pretty killer. Yeah, that one's, I think I know who owns that one actually. But yeah, and actually I do love, so we have a couple like, you know, that pay homage to like Alice in Wonderland, like that White Rabbit, the Mad Hatter hat. There's kind of like a blouse looking thing that I believe we also labeled Mad Hatter. So those are some of my favorites. And then some weird ones that might not seem to be like a popular. Oh, also, I think we have, you know, this is going to sound cocky, but I truly think we have some of the best laser eyes in the NFT game. You know, so I do love those. They look just very electric, super cool. A couple that are probably like not really revered by anybody else that I've always loved. I love the suspenders for some reason. I've always loved the suspender ones. And then what's the other one? Oh, just like the beanie. For some reason, I love the beanie. But yeah, there's some suspenders. Not sure why. They're just funny to me. I think those are for the most part. And the HUD glasses, which are very rare, I believe.
Awesome. Danny, how about you?
Some of my favorite traits. One of my favorite traits is the patchwork denim jacket. I don't know. I think it's the one that I'm wearing in my PFP. I just think it's a real cool trait. It's something that I would like to have in real life, and I'd rock. So that's one of my favorites. And then I also like that Valhalla helm trait too. That along with the crown trait, I just think like any NFT, any piece that we have that's wearing one of those really just looks really cool. And then other than that, I think the orange juice trait is one of my favorites too. For the same reason that Lysergic likes it. It's kind of, it makes me nostalgic. It reminds me of like the times when I was a young kid, and people using those scare tactics with this urban legend that if you take too much acid, you could turn into a cup of orange juice for the rest of your life, and like never be able to be around people because you think you'd be spilled.
Awesome.
Which was just a absolute rumor. That person never existed.
Yeah. No, I love the orange juice one. I know Alyssa does too, our producer. She was looking at that one. You mentioned some of the Alice in Wonderland. The White Rabbit was one that I pointed out yesterday on our stream when we were looking at traits. I really like the White Rabbit on the shoulder. I feel like I'm that way though with a lot of these NFT projects. Whenever like random like little animals or little characters that are like chilling on a shoulder or on top of the head, I feel like I'm drawn to those. So
and we have the mushroom head too that has like the caterpillar.
Yeah.
But instead of a caterpillar face, it has the ape face. I love when Fig did that one. And another like set of traits that I don't know. I'm sure some people have realized, but they're like fear and loathing based. So it's like the bucket hat, the classic like orange sunglasses, aviator style sunglasses, the cigarette with the cigarette holder, and then the backcountry shirt. And I know someone who got 3 of the 4. I don't know if anyone got 4, which would have been cool. But yeah, so we just wanted to give a little shout out essentially to some of these like movies that have a psychedelic theme, which is funny because Alice in Wonderland is literally a children's movie. But I think everyone knows that there's some hints in there.
Oh, there's some definite hints. I was saying White Rabbit too. Like I mean, I'm younger, but I grew up on classic rock thanks to my dad. And I remember, Jefferson Airplane, the band had a song called White Rabbit that was very trippy in nature as well. So I love that trait. What was the fur, Alyssa? The Galaxy Trypophobia one was another one that I pointed out yesterday that I really liked.
What is that one called?
It's literally Galaxy Triphobia. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Find that one. and then we'll have Alyssa share. Also, there was some like tie-dye shirts. I don't know. We went through these yesterday on the stream, and it's just so much fun to go through. And I mean, I love the colors too. Like and that hat. I love that hat and that fur right there.
Yeah. Oh, I love the paisley hat and the suit that matches that. Those ones are awesome.
Yeah.
See, I have that what's it called? Is that called tryptophobia? I have that thing where like holes in like skin or like small holes in weird things like make me feel uneasy. So these ones are like a little weird to me. They're not bad.
I was gonna say I feel like then you can't like them because
yeah,
like against like your
it's not bad for some reason. I think it's the weirdest like you know, I don't even want to call it fear, but like it's like the really small holes that really bother me for whatever reason. I don't know why. That's just how I'm wired, I guess.
Yeah. While we're going through these, I don't know if you guys can answer this, but are there any like hidden traits that maybe pay tribute to movies or other projects where it's not listed in the name of the trait, so maybe people would have to do a little bit more digging, or people haven't figured it out yet? Anything that's like hidden beyond?
I'm trying to think. I think I might have mentioned most of those. Danny, are we missing any? I mean, there's the Mad Hatter right above there. That hat there, yep.
That one's sweet.
Yeah, I love that one. I think just the ones that we mentioned, I believe.
All right, Alyssa, any traits you want to call out from looking at these?
I'm a sucker for drippy.
Oh yeah, the drippy ones you were liking yesterday. Yeah,
I love drippy.
Yeah, I love the. I like the radioactive drippy, the green one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see it. No, yeah, the drippy ones are sweet. So.
And the OJ.
And I love those. I love those robes. You could almost call them like maybe a cult robe, you know, but I don't know.
It's not a cult robe. There you go.
Right. Yeah. Oh, and those pit vipers are some of my favorites too.
Yeah, the green is sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, drippy is awesome. I'm scared to do this because the chat's already been going crazy. But how about you guys out there watching? Throw out some favorite traits, or I mean, throw out your number, right? And maybe we'll pull up a couple to look at. So Alyssa, if we can keep up with the chat, let's see what everyone has to say there.
And those ones are cool. Those are the ceremonial ropes. There's only 10 that exist there, and it has the Hollow Labs chain on it. Yeah, so those ones are super rare.
Super rare, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's see what the chat's saying. I saw some numbers, Alyssa. I don't know if you're feeling brave and want to pull some up.
Okay, I got you guys.
Okay, just type in whatever you see, and we'll look at it. See, we love doing this and like looking at the different ones, looking at the traits, looking at. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that one's great.
Yeah, I love that jacket.
Yeah,
I love that. Like,
and those are the HUD glasses. I'm pretty sure those are super rare.
2702. Shout out whoever threw that out. That's sweet. What else these numbers are flying. They're flying in the chat. Ooh, I like that. Oh, and the Chorles t-shirt.
Yeah, and the matching mushroom fur and mushroom hat is awesome.
Yeah, see, that's sweet.
Yeah.
The combo. Yeah. That's awesome. Alyssa, how about like one or two more, and then we'll move on. We could look at traits all day.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever do this? Do you like go back and like just kind of like scroll through and look and find stuff that you didn't even know was in it?
Yeah, I mean, we spent so much time looking at these traits. I mean, we've been looking at them for like 4 months, but you know, the days leading up to our final generation, I mean, we were all scrolling through. Oh, see, okay, there's the Backcountry shirt.
Yeah, the Backcountry. See, that's sweet. Yeah.
And they got the I actually didn't deal with a lot of the art generation, so still don't know what some of them are called. I don't know what that face is called, but I love that.
Yeah.
What's that one called?
Solana Shout.
Solana Shout. Yeah. I love that face. Oh, and that piece on the if you go back, the piece to the right, the fur. Oh, where'd it go? It's basically the fur that's titled Fig. So that's just literally one of our artist pieces of artwork, like drawn onto a fur. And we thought it'd be cool to have him, like, you know, have a little shout out there.
Yeah. No, that's sweet.
So that's one of his, like, because he's like an actual psychedelic artist. So like he does like really incredible pieces that aren't these like funny little apes. So we thought it'd be cool to kind of have one of those in there. And that piece, which is on his Instagram at Fig House, is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
What was the one? There was one where like there's like the planets. It looks like the planets are like orbiting around the head. We found that one yesterday. That one was pretty cool too.
Yeah, that one's sweet. That one was hard. That one was actually that was like it was hard to make look right, because sometimes it would look like it was like one of those optical illusions where it would like flip somehow, like it based on like if the planets were in front of the little orbit line or
there we go. Yeah,
so like we had to mess with that for a while.
Well, it came out great. I love it.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Yeah, no, that's sweet. So all right, guys, before we head on to what's next, any other traits here?
I don't think so. Like you said, yeah, we could talk traits all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you look up the blotter background trait, like that's every single one that has a blotter background trait is a legendary. So like all of those combinations are, you know, they look great. You know, they're all super vibrant.
There's that rabbit again.
Yeah,
I love the white rabbit.
We use exclusions for our generation on these. So like the blotter backgrounds could only have like certain traits that were like super rare to begin with.
Awesome.
So that's why they're all like rare furs, you know, rare hats.
There's a caterpillar.
Oh, those are actually, I forgot about those sunglasses. Those sunglasses are
those are some of my favorite too.
Yeah,
those are sweet.
Yeah.
This background I definitely remember seeing when we were looking at the top selling the ones too. So definitely a rare one and a well loved one by people out there. So all right, guys. Well, I want to turn away from the traits for a minute. You know, we talked to founders of projects, and you know, obviously Discord is so important within the NFT community. So I don't know if you guys want to be honest here, but like, how much time do you guys spend in Discord, like on a daily basis? Are you pretty active there? And why is Discord so important for a project?
So I am now trying to spend a lot more time there since we are now we have the holders chat. We can chat with the people who are in the project. But before it was kind of like it was our mods and our community manager King that was mostly doing it. So like it was hard to get in there because we were so busy. Like we'd pop in every once in a while, but we usually like in order for our holders or potential holders at the time to like get to know us, we utilized like spaces. So we did, a ton of spaces, probably somewhere between 15 and 20 before. And so that was kind of our way of like, you know, having them, you know, being able to get to know us and chat with us. So, but yeah, now the plan is to be in there a lot more. And I pop in there now every once in a while, you know, have a 30-minute chat and then got to dip to do something like this. Right. Like, so there's still stuff we have to do, but I think that's going to be much more of a common thing now that we're kind of actually building the holder community.
Danny, what about you?
Yeah, I try to pop in. Mostly when I pop into the Discord, it's really to talk to the mods and the community manager and kind of, you know, get a feel for how the community is going. Pre-mint, it was just really, really hectic in there. It was hard to really hold a conversation with anyone.
Right.
We had like a 1 to 2 minute cooldown timer in the main chat, and as soon as you sent a message, it was gone. So yeah, now that it's post-mint and it's, you know, calmed down a little bit, we're able to get in there more. Obviously we want to kind of build that bigger connection with the community directly. And we think, you know, Discord's a good tool to do that with. You know, the difference between our Discord and our Twitter, we kind of try to stay in our brand voice with all the tweets we make. And, you know, it's a little bit more cryptic, but in the Discord, we're able to kind of lay things out in a more detailed way and kind of go outside of that voice a little bit, just to help people understand what we're actually doing.
Awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, you guys both mentioned Twitter Spaces and our Twitter, being used for the brand. That's something, at Benzinga, we do some Twitter Spaces with different projects, and it's really a great tool. Can you just talk a little bit about, how Twitter Spaces helped before the mint to, maybe answer some questions, get some stuff, out there for people, and also how it could be used as a tool going forward once we get, more details on roadmap and what's ahead?
Yeah, I think the big thing we want to do with Spaces is like, it's one thing to kind of hear someone or see someone type something on Discord and read that. It's another thing to kind of like hear someone talk about the project and kind of get an idea of like maybe like how well spoken they are, how passionate they are about the project, that kind of thing. So we use those to kind of build rapport and build trust, because we do have a mysterious, roadmap, and like the whole idea is trust the process. That's the thing we have over and over. So we figured if we were kind of sitting behind the computer the whole time and like not really letting ourselves like kind of be heard properly, then people would just have a hard time like trusting that we're going to do something. They would, assume it's going to be some sort of rug, and we're just going to stop working on it after. And it was also a really good way for us to explain our backgrounds, essentially. And I guess I haven't covered it here, but yeah, like I said, mine is in the music industry world, which I've compared a lot to like how you build hype with NFT projects. It's kind of the same thing. It's fostering community, it's proper branding, proper hype, marketing, and then kind of explaining the experience. So that kind of just my background in that really shifted right into this. And so I was able to kind of explain that on all these spaces we've done. And I think that hyped people up. They just know that, I think it's nice knowing that someone is building this brand, this business that has done that before, right? So like that's what we kind of use the spaces to do, as well as just like, yeah, get outside of the cryptic announcements on Twitter, and just a way to like kind of just like be ourselves and like let everyone know what's really going on.
Yeah, awesome. Danny, anything to add about, Twitter versus Discord, the benefits of each one, the differences?
Yeah, like I touched on earlier with Discord, we can kind of go a little bit more in depth of what we're actually trying to convey. And yeah, on Twitter we utilize Spaces a lot because it's just more personable. Where it's easier. You gain that trust a little bit more when you can connect a voice to the name.
Awesome. I want to talk a little bit about, some other projects. So you guys, mentioned you got into the NFT space. You did this. I think I saw you guys did like an AMA with DeGods, and one of you guys referenced that. Are there other Solana or Ethereum NFTs that you guys are holding or following? Obviously you're busy with this, but outside of the project, what other NFTs really draw you in?
Yeah. So on Solana, yeah, I've had DeGod since January, I think. So not their early days, but compared to now and like where the floor's at, I mean, very early in that sense. And I've had I bought a Cats. I love that community. I do have an OK Bears. What they've done's been crazy. I have a bunch of smaller ones that I can't even really remember. Oh, I have an Astrals. We've been talking to those guys a lot, and since they have Shaq involved in their project, and Shaq's a DJ now, we're kind of just in talks about some cool shit we can do. Man, I don't even remember what else I have. It's kind of unfortunate I haven't been able to buy as much when I've been working on this project for the past 4 months. And recently we've gotten whitelisted for some cool stuff. I think I have a dope head still. I don't know. I'd have to pull up my Phantom. There's a whole bunch of shit in there, including random stuff that people have sent me.
Right. Yeah. Danny, what about you?
Yeah, I've have a lot of stuff in my wallet, but honestly, like a lot of the stuff I hold are just like projects that never went anywhere, or just rugs in general. One of my favorite projects that I'm holding is Stoned Ape Crew. They're really centered around the cannabis industry, and I kind of really connect with that. And they've been doing some inner life event stuff, which I think is cool too. and something we want to implement with our project. But other than that, yeah, I've just been for my personal wallet, I've been watching our us on the secondary market and kind of just sniping all the ones that I like. And so yeah, I'm really just hoarding Trippin Ape Tribe, just investing in myself, because I really believe in what we're doing and what we have planned for the future.
Love that. So I mentioned at the top, Solana breaking records, and you guys were part of that over the last 24 hours. We try to cover, both Ethereum and Solana and even others, like Flow with NBA Top Shot on the show. So there's been a lot of questions from people about Solana NFTs, and a lot of people that maybe are hesitant to, branch out and go into Solana. Can you guys just share, since you have the background there, why should people be looking to either get into Solana NFTs or diversify themselves, with both Ethereum and Solana? Of course, not financial advice, just, throw out some reasons for Solana here.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, one of the reasons I've always liked, one of the reasons I've liked Solana so much is because it is a smaller community. And again, now that might change, but everyone kind of knows each other. We kind of all know like which mints we're going after, right? And which projects are going to be best to buy on secondary. So if you kind of just follow the trends, you can see, what's next essentially. And I've always thought that was fun. So I don't want to say it's easier to do well in Solana, but for me it is, at least. And the other thing is, like, there's just a lot more you can do with Solana because there's not that giant gas fee. Like, for example, our utility, we're gonna have so many times where you have to approve some sort of transaction that if they had to do that with a gas fee, whether that's $15, $50, depending on how crazy it is, it would be too much for people. Like, people would not, they just wouldn't do it. Like, the end reward wouldn't be worth it, at least in their eyes. So that's a big piece. Like, you can do a lot of cool on-chain stuff with it. That's just difficult to do on Ethereum. A lot of projects are doing stuff like these different quests or staking, or these raffles, for example. I mean, Gods probably has the best raffle, or Famous Fox has a really good one too. But it's like these little micro transactions that, like, for us on Solana, they don't mean anything. It's like we're spending a penny or whatever to get it done. But on ETH, like, that would be a substantial amount of money to do these all the time. So that's one of the biggest reasons, in my opinion. The on-chain stuff just becomes a lot more reasonable. It just makes a lot more sense.
Danny, same question for you. Solana, why should people be looking at Solana?
I think just recently, I think OK Bears kind of ushered it in. Like, there are a lot of people on the ETH side starting to pay attention to Solana, which way more than they ever have. It's always been kind of this ongoing joke where people on Twitter are like, "Hey, the ETH whales are coming," but now they really are. Like, we're just, Solana as a whole is just getting a lot more attention from the entire NFT space, and there's we see the increased volume, we see the increased social metrics on all these Solana projects that we've never seen before, and Solana is really just evolving, and we're coming into a new era of Solana, and I think people are starting to take notice. And so it's still super early, so getting in now, you're going to be a part of that new era.
Awesome. All right. Well, it looks like we're out of time. So before we let you guys go, I know, again, this huge mystery around the project, but if you could just share maybe something to look forward to, sometimes people should look forward to, or just any reason why people out there should be looking at your project for the long term without giving too much away. Lysergic, how about you?
So the first piece that's like the most crucial part of this journey is happening very soon. And there's going to be hints to, there's already actually hints about it. Some people have a pretty good understanding of what it might be. And we're gonna, I believe Chorles has blessed us with a transmission that will be coming out today that will maybe even make it a little more clear. Yeah, we know everything right now is when announcement, when utility, when this, when that. we literally are on just past 48 hours of
day two, guys. Day two.
Yeah, and not to mention we all went down to Miami to meet to do the mint, and we slept like 1 or 2 hours each night. So like even yesterday was like we were catching up. So yeah, just give us a second. But yes, it's all going to be starting very soon with this first piece that I don't know. It could seem small to some people, but once the story unravels, you'll realize how important it is.
Awesome. Danny, same question before we let you guys go.
Yeah, just follow up on that first piece. It's something that a lot of projects talk about, and that never really gets done. And the fact that we're going to be doing it so early, and just in the fashion that we're doing it, it's really going to be a big look, and is going to provide a lot of value for our holders. But yeah, other than that, it's really just about trusting the process. Right now, there's a lot of impatience. Obviously, this space as a whole just really has a short attention span. So we understand that the more we draw this out and postpone on the announcement, people are going to get real impatient and frustrated. But yeah, it's just follow the code of Chorles. Just trust the process and just be patient, and it will reward you.
And I want to follow up on that. Actually, what Danny and I are talking about are two different things. So those are kind of our two different early pieces that will.
There we go, guys. Two pieces. See, be patient. Trust the process.
Yeah,
we got two pieces coming soon. So, Lysergic, Danny, this was a blast. I want to thank you both for coming on the show, taking time out of your busy schedules and that sleep that you guys are lacking right now. So thanks for coming on. And hey, we look forward to having you back on, when we do get some of these pieces so we can chat more.
Likewise, man. Just let us know. We're on.
Yeah,
awesome. Thank you,
appreciate
guys.
you having us.
Of course. All right. So Danny and Lysergic, Trippin Ape Tribe, guys. Thank you so much for this community, for showing up, right? A ton of people here watching. Just a reminder again, smash that like if you have not already. Subscribe to Benzinga's YouTube channel. We run this show Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern time. We've had some great NFT teams, founders, community leaders, and investors out there join us, and we've got more coming. So we'd love to have you guys check in. And I think that's going to do it for today. So we'll be back next week. Stay tuned. You got pre-market prep at the close coming up soon, where they'll talk the latest stock and crypto headlines if you're into stocks and crypto. And as always, we will catch you next